Hello and welcome to the Jekyllhydeclub.
Today, on our Weird Tales Wednesday, we are talking about our haunted doll experience. And if any of you know, I really don't like most dolls. I just can't deal with them. So it's interesting that Gomez actually had the experience instead of me. We were selling porcelain dolls for my mom. She got them from a friend and wanted us to sell them for her because I know about selling online and she doesn't. So she's just like, can you do this for me? Like, okay. We were living near her at the time. So we had them in our apartment because of the fact that I had to describe them and get all the information. What kind of doll is it? And you know, when you sell something online, you can't just go 12-inch porcelain doll for sale, $30. You have to look up how much it's worth, what kind of doll it is, blah, blah, etc. I learned more than I wanted to about dolls, doing that favor for her. So anyway, it is basically the fact that we had them in our house while we were selling them for her. And so, you know, I didn't go through the effort of taking them out back to her right after it was sold. So they stayed in our house basically from the listing until they were sold. And I think that was probably 4 or 5 days because they were popular and sold quickly, which is good. And I thought it would bother me to have them in the house, but I just like, okay, take it out, look at it, do the description, put it back in the box. So they were just kind of stacked in the corner in their boxes. And it didn't bother me that much just because they stayed put away. So that was the issue. And it was interesting because Gomez actually had the experience with one of the dolls. And it was a doll that would not have scared me. And that's why it stood out for me and I wanted to talk about it because it was a little baby, like a porcelain baby doll. And it had a little bonnet, like a frilly bonnet. I can't remember the clothes, but it was probably maybe this big. Something like that, wouldn't you say?
Yes.
Maybe a foot to 8 inches, maybe 8 inches, maybe a foot at the largest. But anyway, and it didn't seem scary to me because it didn't have the real hair. I can't do real hair on dolls. Maybe it makes them too human, and especially when the hair starts to go like rough and napped, it just really freaks me out. I don't know. But anyway, this is just a little bald baby with a cute bonnet, and it did not scare me, and that was the one that Gomez had the experience with. So I'm just bringing that up because of the fact that it stood out in my mind because it wasn't even one that would have bothered me. And he actually has never been afraid of dolls. So it was me that's always had the doll issue. So I'm more thinking that this was kind of like a haunting situation because of the fact, now these dolls were not sold as haunted dolls. They were not sold as, you know, with a certificate where they give you the little story that they probably make up, who knows, about what makes the doll haunted and this and that. So these were just dolls that I'm going to call my mom after we do this video and ask her any information she knows about the dolls. So check not the comments, but check the write-up, the description. And if I have anything interesting that she knows about it, I will leave it there. I should have done it earlier, but I'm lazy and don't want to edit and deal. It's very hot here, probably like over 100, and we have forest fires near us, and it kind of saps one's energy. And you don't want to do anything extra that you don't have to do, so I will put it in the write-up. But anyway, so they were not sold to my knowledge as haunted dolls, and the fact that Gomez was not afraid of dolls, did not have doll issues. Now, if I had had an issue, I could see that, because you're like, okay, but you're already afraid of dolls. And whatever. And so I think this was more of a real thing. I've heard of haunted dolls doing things to people in their dreams and whatever. And like I said, this doll didn't even seem scary. And this doll, a lot of times when you see haunted dolls sold online, it seems like it already looks scary. So it's kind of a subliminal head screw. You're like, okay, this is already going to be in my head. This is a creepy doll. So yeah, sure, I'm going to imagine anything moving around. A creak in the kitchen is the doll now. Like, to me, a lot of the haunted doll stuff that they have online is just ridiculous. This doll was cute. It was not scary. It was the least one that would have bothered me. So I think the fact that Gomez had the experience and he's not scared of dolls at all kind of stuck with me that I thought we should talk about it. If you guys are new, I am Morticia. This is our roommate Slappy, who is not haunted, and he's haunting, just not haunted. And Gomez, and check out our spooky playlists and subscribe and hang out with us. So without further ado, Gomez can tell you about the dream that I think, because a lot of times I've read stuff on haunted dolls and they apparently can send you dreams and stuff. And I never believed this until and when Gomez first mentioned it, I thought it was just a dream too. But the more I thought about it, I was like, what if that doll was haunted? Because it makes no sense that you would be disturbed. And he was really disturbed. Like he said, he woke up, like, in the dream, he was really freaked out. And he even said that was weird at the time. And I think I remember it more vividly than he does at this point because of that. It was just really weird because I have the doll issue.
Yeah, and right now I'm not worried about it all, so it's like just whatever, just another dream for me that I barely...
Just a dream,
yeah.
just a dream. Did it make you lose your religion, though?
I don't think I did because I didn't have it by that point, but otherwise... So, yeah, it was like a little doll, I guess, and it seemed maybe like a baby.
Well, yeah, it was. It didn't have hair. It was a cute little baby.
Yeah, I was trying to remember.
It had to be a girl because it had the little bonnet, little frilly bonnet around her face.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe it reminded me of that Cupid doll that we got to see yesterday that we decided not to buy yet.
I want a Cupid doll, but I wasn't going to pay $50 for one with its head caved in that they admitted they didn't clean on eBay. They had haunted as a question mark. I guess they're trying to sell it for more. But they said vintage. They didn't even say how old is vintage. And when you're selling $50 for a dirty doll that I'm going to have to clean, I want to know how old it is. And I want you to clean it for me. Why would you just sell a dirty item, clean it? Unless you're selling it cheap. If I'm giving it to you for $10 and it's like I'll earn my $10 cleaning it, then no, you can do it. But not for $50. That was a sidebar digression, but I do feel it's relevant.
And its eyes seemed like strange a little, maybe sort of glowing, but not too deeply.
Are you sure you're not confusing it with our roommate, Slappy?
I was wondering, yes.
Now, was it glowing in the dream, or do you remember them kind of looking weird when you're awake? Which part are you?
Just the dream.
Okay. That could be a spirit in there for real, though.
Yeah, and there was a special effect also. This part was also real for the doll, where the particular way the blush was applied to the cheeks, like where it looked
Rosy
like...
cheeks?
Yeah.
Was it bloody cheeks instead?
Well, it was like different. It was creating a different sort of effect. Like maybe the idea, because it was already sort of faded, but it wasn't really, because it's still like it's supposed to be ageless, I guess. At the same time, it creates a kind of a strange effect. And I guess maybe it contributes to the spooky aspect in both real life.
Oh, so it was one of those faded-looking blushes?
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting to be on a baby. Now, I am visually impaired. We're both visually impaired, but he sees far better than I do, so I wouldn't be able to tell if something looked faded. So that he had a break. Now, that's interesting because I honestly didn't think the doll seemed that old, but I don't know how long it takes dolls to fade. It seemed in good condition. But I have rabbits that I had since I was a kid that look new. Except the one I sleep with all the time that does not look new, but...
He's so cute.
But all his other compatriots look brand new, so it could... like I said, I'm going to ask Mom anything she happens to know. And I think the faded dolls do give us more of the creeps, like, you know, but...
Yeah.
But there were some older ones that were like adult dolls, like, I guess, or at least girls. They had the real hair and the more grown-up dresses. They were not babies. And I would have thought those would creep him out more. And this happened before we knew a lot about the haunted dolls on eBay. I never look at stuff like that. And this was like 6 years ago. And so I never knew porcelain dolls scared people. I get more creeped out by the vinyl dolls with the hair. I don't really like any dolls, but to me, I don't know why, because they're more modern, but they creep me out more. And the talking ones are not cool for me, if they have hair. But the thing is, well, okay, most talking ones aren't cool for me, regardless. Let me just go ahead and do that. Because I'm thinking, well, would I like it if it... No. Okay. But porcelain dolls, I never knew they creep people out. I mean, like, that big of a deal to me. They don't look as human, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, this was before, so I was really surprised that Gomez found it creepy. Okay, so tell them the details of the dream.
So, yeah, I guess the way it looked...
It was looking at you, right? Like with its eyes?
Yeah. And the blush, especially, for some reason, it was disturbing. I guess right now I probably wouldn't find it disturbing, truly, but because it was a dream, and in the dream...
Perceptions.
Yeah.
Do you think it looked more lifelike because of it or not?
It did both. It was like just lifelike enough to be scary and yet not to be extra scary.
Yeah, that's what freaks me out about the real hair, maybe. Like, people have real hair too, but this isn't right and this is unnatural, and yeah, that's the whole doll thing.
Yeah, for some reason there was like, I still remember there was like that ambiguity in the dream that I guess that it shouldn't have been scary because of how it looked, and yet it was. And
Well, didn't you say the doll was like up in your face, standing up, leaning over you?
yeah,
That would kind of do it. The doll is supposed to be in its box in the corner, though. And at the time, I think it was kind of a realistic thought because we had gotten to Texas and we did not like it. And it was like that, Paris Hilton Simple Life where the hell are we? And that's kind of what we did as soon as we got there. Like, no. So I was there to help my mom out with her back issues because I do medical massage, or I did until I started doing more with jewelry. But anyway, so I was helping her, and we were there for a minute, and we knew we did not want to be there that long, so we just kind of had a mattress and box springs on the floor. I was like getting something really cheap, and just, I don't want to be here, so I'm not trying to invest in heavy furniture. I do not want to be here was like our mantra. So we had a bed that was very low on the floor, and technically the doll could have been standing in his face like that. I think you said the hands were on the mattress and it was propped up looking at you.
oh yeah,
And that is actually feasible. It wasn't like we had a regular bed where the doll was like floating in the air to be able to reach him. The doll could have done that. And the box was undisturbed. I don't even think she was in the top box. So I doubt it really happened, but I've read stuff online about the haunted dolls being able to give you dreams, which I would not have believed. And then I went back and thought about this situation with Gomez's dream and went, well, okay, that was weird. And I thought it was weird at the time because, again, I didn't have the dream, and he's the one that didn't have the doll issue. He did not think any of those dolls were scary until that dream.
yeah, that's true.
You were not bothered by that doll before the dream at all.
No,
Which is why I'm wondering, maybe some of the haunted doll things have some credence, because now, again, coming from me, that would have made more sense.
yeah, that's a good point.
And I would have dreamt about probably one of the ones with the hair.
Yeah,
He did not dream about that, and I was telling him, damn, that one doesn't even scare me. That's cool. And again, it did not scare him before the dream, so he was only scared of it in the dream, and after, he just was like glad it got out of the house. So,
yes, I think the overall collection, when it passed from our hands elsewhere, it was a relief for both of us.
Oh yeah, I was glad to get them out just because I don't want a doll in my house. So yeah. So okay, the doll is looking at you. Didn't it just look at you? Like, I think that was the whole thing that you said it was really bad, but it was just there. Like,
Yeah, I guess, yeah, sometimes it can be scary when somebody is actively pursuing you, so I can't say that it should be objectively more scary, but I guess there's that potential of action that you're waiting for the other shoe to drop type of thing, so it's still scary in its own right, even if nothing is happening, but you know that the air is feel. Sometimes you can feel tension in the air,
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Morticia has a playlist with songs, remember to check it.
You're so funny. My friend and I used to have a game where we would see how many songs we could put with something that the other person said. So it gets stuck when it's that obvious. I have to do it.
So how many did you manage to squeeze?
I don't remember, honestly.
Could you do like 10, or 20, or?
I don't know. I was 14.
Okay.
I don't know. Leave me alone. But yeah, the thing is, I'm not trying to talk for him or tell it for him. It's just that, to be honest, at this point, I remembered it more than he did. I'm like, I was reading stuff online yesterday about these haunted dolls because our friend is saying that she recently got this marionette and put it in her shop, and it's like stuff's been happening. She's like, do you think it could be haunted? Do you want him to come look at it? Because Gomez can see ghosts. And I'm like, we'll see. And anyway, so that got me just researching to see, because I never really believed in it. And I thought people were just trying to sell the dolls or whatever for hype, and they probably are most of the time. And then when I was reading about how people would have dreams once they got the haunted doll in their house, I'm thinking, okay, that's just got to be in their head. But then I went, wait, but we had a doll, and then he's the one that had the dream instead of me. And then, like, it was a doll that I wouldn't have even thought was scary. So that just all came back to me yesterday. And I'm like, we should do this for Weird Tales, because, and then I'm like, hey, let's talk about that doll dream you had. And he's like, what? And I'm like, you remember the dream? And I'm sitting here telling him the dream. He's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I know. But it's like, so he was really scared of it at the time. Like, he woke up and he said he was really terrified in the dream. And that it was weird that he was that terrified, he commented. But like I said, it's funny, sometimes I'll remember his dreams more than he does when they stand out for me. And then later I'll go, about that, and he's like, well, yeah, I kind of sort of remember it. So it's not that I'm not letting him tell his own dream or whatever, it's just that I actually remembered it more because it really stood out for me as odd, because he was specifically never scared of dolls, didn't fully get why I freaked out so much about them. And then so when he had the dream about one that wouldn't have even bothered me, it was really interesting. I think you even said that you kind of got where I was when I was scared of them after that dream a little bit. Like,
yes.
So it's like, yeah. So that's interesting about the blush. I don't know. If you told me that, I might have forgotten that part.
I'm not sure. I was just trying to think about it, and that's what came to me. Like,
You probably did, but I remembered a lot of it at least. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah, and it's like somehow it made sort of the face stand out more, combined with the little baby bonnet type of thing. Like for some reason together they made that kind of a framework of fear, as it were.
I like that, a framework of fear. You can tell this guy's an author. He knows the words. So what do you guys think? Do you think that it was a haunted doll? And if not, I'm curious why you think he is the one that had the dream instead of me, and why he was afraid of it when he normally is not afraid of it. Because, you know, we're not trying to like blow everything up. Our paranormal videos, I guess, aren't as thrilling as others because we're more honest and we go, we really don't know, except that weird haunted toy that we still have that never did its thing again. And it still doesn't bother me because it's a cute rabbit.
We're hiding.
It is, yeah, we're hiding that one. If you guys haven't seen that, check it out because that's our haunted Toy Story. Toy Story. And we still have it. But, you know, like, we're at least honest, and I'm not going to blow stuff up and be ridiculous and, like, whatever. But anyway, I'm curious about what you guys think. If you don't think it's true, why him? Why did he have it? And why did he have it about the doll that would not have bothered me? And if you do think it's true, that's interesting. Like, I wonder if the doll was malevolent or if it just wanted something. But, you know, they say sometimes, now what I was reading online yesterday, if any of it's true, if the haunted doll is friendly, you won't feel creeped out or anything. And if it's not, you will. So I'm guessing it wasn't friendly because Gomez is not easily scared. So, you know, the fact that he was rattled, I think maybe it wasn't a nice doll. So, which is kind of really ironically funny that me, who is like super scared of dolls, did not have the experience. But I don't see ghosts either, so.
It's all relative and it all evens out.
I guess so. At least now you can get why I'm like, oh, no. So anyway, thank you for watching, and until next time.
Stay spooky, my friends.